Hi, I'm Ben Bright from Tech in the District. Today we're pleased to welcome Marcia Hale, President of Building America's Future. BAF is an organization focused on building infrastructure in America to build the economy and create jobs. Take a look. Marcia Hale, Building America's Future, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Now, when we think traditional infrastructure, we think building roads, buildings, but it really is more than that. Can you talk a little bit about what your organization is doing?
Yes. Building America's Future is a coalition that was started about 2.5 years ago by Governor Schwarzenegger, Governor Rendell, and Mayor Bloomberg. And they came together to try to bring a real emphasis on the fact that this country really needs to rebuild its infrastructure. Not just roads and bridges, although that's very important, but it's broadband and smart grid and our levees and all of our water infrastructure. We really need to understand that that's very important to the future of the country.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a tech blog after all. You mentioned broadband. What role does technology play in digging ourselves out of the recession?
It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
What we have to understand is that we are now 40th amongst 40 countries in the expansion of our broadband. We are not keeping up with the actually increasing broadband capacity and capability in the country. And what it can do is really quite amazing on several different levels. One, which is economic competitiveness, but the other is quality of life. So stop and think about a small business in the middle of the country, someplace in Iowa or Illinois or Colorado, who not only has the ability to be able to market their goods broader in their own community, but in the state, in the country, and across the country. Those types of innovations of building out broadband that makes it accessible and affordable for small businesses is just one example of how people can grow jobs in this country. Okay. And as we all know, a majority of new jobs in this country are created on the small business level.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure you were watching Obama's State of the Union speech. We've seen the budget come out. His plan for 98% wireless broadband throughout this country. Do you think that's realistic in the next couple of years? And was it enough? Was it not enough?
It's realistic if we'll all get behind it.
Okay.
It's really important. You know, if you travel around the world, you find out Hong Kong has incredibly fast broadband, and it's incredibly inexpensive. Our broadband in this country, in most places, travels at 1/20th the speed and at 4 to 5 times the cost.
Okay.
We have to do this, and we have to figure out how is the best way to do it. Now, clearly density matters. It is much easier to put broadband into places where there are large populations. But we, once again, have to figure out how to do it and how to do it economically in rural parts of the country for the very same reasons I just talked about with small business and university settings and whatever, because that's where people innovate.
Okay. Now I want to turn to another issue of concern to you, and I know that's high-speed rail transportation. Why are we so far behind Europe, Asia to a lesser extent, in high-speed rail? What's been the problem so far?
Well, one of the reasons is because we were so incredibly successful at building a stunning interstate highway system. And just stop and think about it. If in the 50s and 60s we hadn't built our interstate highway, and we had started in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if it hadn't been something we just all grew up with, stop and think what it would have been like and what our economy would have been like without this incredible network of roads. So we have this incredible network of roads. We don't need to build passenger rail. And we are a very large geographic country. In many places in the world where you have the most successful high-speed rail, you have lots of density in cities, but not huge distances between cities. Now, having said that, I think it is incredibly important for us to build one true high-speed rail line in this country, and then Americans will see what it really means. If you could build a true high-speed rail line between Washington and New York and Boston, people would get out of their cars and they would quit flying so much.
Mm-hmm.
You could then use those slips at airports for longer haul flights, and you would cut down on anything within under 500 miles. Now that takes that's a huge investment, but we need to get one line done, because we've just Building America's Future just finished doing some research, and we talk to people in focus groups about high-speed rail, and they say, well, we don't need it. We don't have it. They've never seen it. They've never ridden it. So what's interesting is then you show them a clip of true high-speed rail in Asia or Europe, and they go, why don't we have that? What's the problem here? And then it sort of kicks in, their American pride kicks in, and they say, we need to do that. And yes, if I could go from here to New York, it would be terrific, and I would ride it, whatever. But there's no real life experience for most people. We have got to get one line built.
Okay. Is this one of those investments that?
It will over time. We need to be more creative also in this country on how we finance things, and we need to put a lot of effort into that, because quite frankly, it's enormously expensive to build a high-speed rail line, but it creates thousands of jobs, and you need to be able to bring the private sector in, and what you need to bring the private sector in is a revenue stream. So you have to build the first line where there are passengers who absolutely want to get on it and want to use it and prove the concept.
Okay. Speaking of financing, Obama's proposed budget is out. We're already seeing the partisan bickering. Do you think his priorities are in the right areas right now? We saw, tech, transportation didn't get hit as hard as some other sectors.
It actually didn't get hit. It was stunning when it first came out. It is a $556 billion 6-year authorization for transportation, which was an increase over previous years and considerably larger than anything that particularly the House will consider this year. It also included high-speed rail, and it included a national infrastructure bank, which is something that we at Building America's Future really care about. It is a way to get some big national projects done in this country. So yeah, we applauded the president's budget, and we will try to be very helpful. There are painful cuts coming in lots of areas, and I quite frankly don't think he'll get everything he wants in that transportation bill, but he put down a very good first proposal.
Okay. We always like to end on a lighter note on these video features. You've been in D.C. a while now. What is your favorite recreational activity when you're not running Building America's Future?
What I actually like to do is go to baseball games,
play
golf, do whatever. But I actually consider my favorite activity in Washington, I think, since this is mid-March and it's gray and it's cold and it's kind of dreary outside, and we do actually think summer's coming at some point.
We'll see.
But the one thing that signals that for every Washingtonian is when the cherry blossoms come out. And it gives you a real ability to sort of appreciate the beauty of this city. And I quite often try to take a lunchtime and walk down there, leave my car far behind, and try to walk down and walk from my office and take a walk through.
That's great. Can we get a prediction for the Nationals this season?
Oh, we'll be great.
You heard it here first. All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.